Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I've got to get ready today and I thought we could do it together. I am going to start by using a little bit, I'm trying to finish this up, this Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Elevated Glow. This is the lightest shade in Pink Moon. I really love this liquid highlight, but I also like to use it as kind of like a primer. I always like the glow that I get underneath foundation from this product. This is one of my favorites. I do have another two shades, but this one's really great. We're just gonna continue on with the little Lisa Eldridge here. I don't know if you happen to see the post either on Instagram or on the community tab last week. Oh my goodness. What a week it has been. I think I need a little color correcting before. I'm using this. This is new to my collection. It's not a new product, of course, but this is the Skin Corrector Stick from Bobbi Brown in Light Bisque. I'm using this just for dark circles. So last week I had surgery and this surgery was to help with some long-term pain that I had been dealing with ever since I had my 6th brain surgery in August. I have a VP shunt or ventricular peritoneal shunt that needed to be replaced. It wasn't working. I was having headaches. And so as they replaced the shunt up here, there are multiple parts to the shunt. There's the part that goes into the ventricle in the brain. It's like a little tiny tube that drains spinal fluid when there's too much pressure internally. There's the device that's implanted here kind of in my skull. When the pressure gets too high, it just starts to siphon out spinal fluid and it kicks it through a tube. And so the tube actually is attached here, goes behind my ear, down my neck, between my breasts and ends, and it drains into my abdomen. And they moved it in August because I was having some pain with the placement of it, that it's been in the same place for the last like almost 6 years. And so I just mentioned like, well, let's see if moving it will help. Moving it made it so much worse, so much worse. Oh my goodness. I was in so much pain with every breath, with every movement. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even go like walk through a grocery store without like, having to stop, gasping in pain. I would end every night, like falling asleep crying for the last 3.5 months. And when I had my surgery in August, I had a follow-up like 6 weeks later and I mentioned it. Hey, I'm having this pain. I've been to the ER. I've had some CTs done. And the guy who I saw was the same PA, if you were kind of keeping up to date with my medical stuff this summer, who told me that nothing was wrong and I had to push for a test that he didn't want to order. And when I pushed for the test, they're like, oh yeah, your shunt is not working. You need a new shunt. And he was like, you're fine. You don't need that. So he didn't believe me when I said I was having, well, maybe he believed me, but he's like, there's nothing I can do. If you've already talked to the surgeon, he kind of shrugged his shoulders and was like, next. And so there were 2 surgeons who did my surgery in August. One of them did the brain portion of the surgery and the other one did the abdominal portion. So the general surgeon is the one who is taking care of the tube that drains down my neck and ends in my abdomen. And he moved it. He's a great surgeon. He's done one of my other surgeries. This is the 3rd time I've had this device either implanted or replaced. And so he's done another previous surgery with me. He's a great guy. And I've gone to see him and he's like, I'm looking at it. I think it might just be irritated. Let's give it time to settle. I don't really think it's surgical. And he thought it wasn't surgical. So I talked to him in September. And then in October, I talked to the PA who kind of brushed me off. And I finally called back to the office, the neurosurgeon's office, and I made an appointment with the neurosurgeon. And oh my goodness, best man ever. He listens to me. He's worried about, how I feel. His first question was, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I know it's been a rough couple of months for you. And I was just like, oh, such a good person. I like him so much. So I started mentioning some of the problems I was having. And as we were kind of making a game plan to deal with, some of the continued brain problems that I have, I mentioned this abdominal pain. And he's like, well, let me take a look. So he opens up the image and the image of my abdomen. He's like, interesting. And he says, you know what, tomorrow I'm doing surgery with the same surgeon who did your abdominal portion of the surgery. Let me just chat with him tomorrow. And that was on the 30th of November. That was a Thursday. And a week later, Friday, like 8 days later, the surgeon's office, the general surgeon's office calls me, and the nurse on the phone was like, well, I'm just getting you checked in for a pre-op schedule. Like, and I was like, what? Nobody said anything to me. The nurse just called and said, let's get you scheduled for a pre-op. And I was like, okay then. And then, oh my goodness, it happened so quickly. So that was Friday. When I was on the phone, they wanted me to come and have an appointment, like to see the doctor beforehand. And so he could check me out and we could make a game plan. And I mentioned to the nurse, I said, look, my out-of-pocket maximum has been reached by my insurance. Is there any chance you guys could get me in before the end of the year? Because if we wait until January to do this, I have to go back and repay my deductible. And then I have a new out-of-pocket max for 2024. And she's like, oh, let me see. She goes, I think we can do that. And so the next thing I know, my phone rings. And it wasn't the nurse, it was the doctor. And he's like, hey, let's go over a couple things on the phone so we can get you in on Tuesday. It was Friday. And he's like, and we'll have you on the table on Tuesday. And I was like, I'll be there. I'll be there. Sign me up, sign me up. So I'll just tell you, it happened very quickly. It wasn't something that I was expecting. It wasn't something that I was kind of planning on, but I am so grateful. I'm still having pain. They told me this afterward, that the draining tube or the catheter had been placed in one place. And normally what happens is when you're laying flat on the operating table, things stay where you put them because there's no movement. But the minute the person stands up, gravity takes over and things move. And they never expect that catheter to stay exactly where they place it. Well, they tucked it up near the liver. And when I stood up, mine never moved. And the blunt end of that tubing was rubbing on my liver and on the interior of the abdominal wall, enough that there was bruising and bleeding. And you could see it. And they actually gave me like copies of the like photos that they took. It was all done laparoscopically. So, you know, a couple of small little grabby things in there, you know, and a little camera. So I have 3 very small incisions, and they showed me the pictures, like the pictures of the inside from the camera. And I was like, interesting. And you could definitely see. And they're like, that is so abnormal. Normally somebody stands up and things move. We don't ever expect them to kind of stay where we put them originally. And the fact that yours did, that's what was causing my pain. So every time I moved, every time I took a step, it was rubbing in the same spot like a blister, rubbing. But since it hadn't had a chance to fully scar yet, I was dealing with this inordinate amount of pain. So scar tissue was slowly building, but it was still causing bleeding. So by the end of the day, anytime I had to, you know, get stuff done, standing in the kitchen, making dinner, running errands, like even driving, because my foot would like move on the pedal and it would engage my abdominals, which would rub up. It was painful. And no wonder I had almost 24/7 pain in that one spot for the last 3.5 months. I was just like, when I got off the table, I was delighted. I was like, it feels different. And the doctor was like, that's good. And so it was so nice. He called the next day to check up on me. And the day after that, his PA called. And they've been just so accommodating and so helpful. And I know a lot of people would be like, you know, you shouldn't have had to deal with that. Yeah, but the truth is, no doctor's going in there expecting that, you know, and 99.9% of patients, you know, we put this here and when they stand up, it doesn't stay there. You never expect it to do that one weird thing it's not supposed to do. So for me, the important part, and I said this in a previous video, is just to continue to advocate for yourself. And it could be, doesn't have to be health related. And for me, it does happen to be that topic, but you know, in a relationship, at work, continue to ask for what you're not getting so that your needs can be met. That was the one takeaway that was so huge, because when I did that this summer, I ended up, needing to have surgery because my shunt wasn't working and the PA wasn't listening to me, and I said, order the test, my insurance will pay for it. And we found out I needed surgery. And here, the fact that I kept coming back saying, hey, I'm still having this pain, this problem, what could it be? The fact that I was kind of like a dog with a bone, although a nice dog with a bone, I just wasn't taking no for an answer. And that was super important to me, to make sure that I'm advocating for myself, because nobody knows what it is you're dealing with except for you. And then making sure that you're telling people how they can help you or what your needs are. makes your life just that much easier. So although yes, it was another surgery, and it was kind of like unexpected and really quick, oh man, I couldn't be more grateful. So I'm about, the day I'm recording this, it's been 6 days and I feel so much better. So much better. So the good part is they were able to do everything through laparoscopic surgery. So of course I still hurt on the side where they have those 3 small, they're like about an inch long incisions. I'm already almost completely healed in that area. Like the skin is like healed back together. It's still red and angry, but it's getting better. I do still have just a little bit of pain with movement on the right side, but I think it's because it's been aggravated for so long. It's gonna take a while for that area to heal. But I am so hopeful at this point that that is the exact, kind of revision, they're calling it a revision of my shunt tubing that I needed so that I'm not in regular pain. And I'll get back to the point where, I can do a myriad of things that over the last 3.5 months I haven't been able to do, like go to the grocery store or, spend a lot of time standing in the kitchen cooking. Like any time I'm on my feet, it was painful. The only thing that didn't hurt was sitting, which is why doing this works, because I'm sitting in a chair. I am in love with this Givenchy Prism Lead Powder. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I am using the shade 03 Wall Rosé. It's such a pretty concealer. I'm gonna set my under eye with this. I don't know how much of my face I'm gonna set. We'll see. Well, I hope you're doing well. I know we're like just right smack dab in the middle of the holidays. The day I was having surgery was the 12th, and we were in the middle of Hanukkah, and my surgeon is Jewish, and he was wearing a surgery cap that had the Star of David on it, and I mentioned like it felt like a Christmas miracle. The surgery so short term. He's like, it's a Hanukkah miracle. So we had a fun little chat about how his family is celebrating Hanukkah right now and some of their traditions. And we're coming up on Christmas. My family celebrates Christmas. Because I've been in so much pain for the last several months, I've been kind of like putting off doing a lot of my Christmas shopping or doing as much online shopping as possible. But dude, I haven't wrapped a single thing. Not a single thing. So I gotta get like chopping. I feel like there's so much to do. The other thing is if I'm feeling better, and it all hinges on if I'm feeling better, because like Christmas is coming. I always make tamales for Christmas, especially for Christmas Eve. My mom is Mexican. My mom's side of the family, it's a big, huge tradition in our family. We get together and we all will make 400 tamales. And when I'm growing up, I used to be there with all of my aunts and my mom and my cousins, and we would make all of these together as a group, and then everybody would split them up, and then you take them home. And sometimes we'd get together and have, Christmas Eve together, but a lot of times it was like, you take these to your house, you take these to your house, but nobody had to do all of the prep by themselves. And it's more fun to do something in a group anyway. But I do have one of my aunts, one of my tias lives not that far away, and her daughter, my cousin, live in town, but I know that they have plans to be gone, so it's just me and my family. And I make tamales on my own, but they're so labor intensive. It's a labor of love, and part of me is like, am I feeling well enough to make tamales this year? Or should we do something less labor intensive? Here's another product that I kind of fell in love with kind of late in the year. I think it was October when I finally tried this, the Skin Enhancer from Makeup by Mario, but man, it's so easy, and I find that I reach for it all the time. It's really good at bringing some color to the face, and I'm not really contouring with it, but I am kind of using it strategically, and I feel like it's just so good. Now, I know this is not the product that everybody is going to love, and the complaint is, especially for this lightest shade, I have the lightest shade here, is that it's too sheer. I like that about it. And for somebody who doesn't always want to look like I'm, wearing all the makeup, this is the perfect sort of product for me. But I feel like this half of my face looks so much better. Let's do the other side. One of my family traditions is to always go out to the forest and to cut down a Christmas tree. our local forestry office will allow you to buy a permit to cut down a tree for $5. And then you have to pay, you know, like the snow park permit, which is like another $7. And for $12, you can get your own fresh cut Christmas tree as long as you're willing to kind of, you know, hoof it. You want to look around, and it has to be so many feet from the road. But like, we've cut down our own Christmas tree for years, and I always love a fresh Christmas tree. I don't know if you have a preference. Let me know. Are you a artificial or are you a fresh Christmas tree person? I grew up always with a fresh Christmas tree. This year we didn't. We still have a fresh tree though, but I told my husband, I said, sweetheart, there's no way I can walk through snow up to my knees with this abdominal pain, and this was pre-surgery, and do any of that. I said, it's not happening. So we got the tree up the week before I got the phone call about surgery. So we ended up going to a tree lot, and we have a really pretty Christmas tree. If I remember, I'll insert a picture of it. We've got a lot of old-fashioned, you know, kind of glass Christmas ornaments on there and some white lights, but mostly it just always feels like Christmas in our house. And I told my husband, because we were kind of late getting ours up, I said, if we don't do it by this weekend, I'm not putting one up, because then it's only going to be up for like 2.5 weeks, and then it's time to take it down and it's too much effort. And he was like, let's get a tree tonight. I know there are some people who are really big into decorating for like the seasons. My mom is one of those. And I kind of not have been ever that sort of person. And it might be because my mom is, you know, such of a seasonal decorator. I love going to my mom's house, and she'll have some beautiful, you know, fall things out, or things for Easter, or things for spring or summer, and I don't want to have to store it. Oh, is that lazy of me? I kind of feel like it is. So I've never been the one. I grew up in the 80s where my mom had like a wreath for the front door for every season. Like, she would change it out, and she loved making wreaths. And so there was a lot of decorating in my house when I was growing up. And maybe it felt like it was too much. I was forever at a Michael's or a Joann's or a fabric store or a, you know, craft location. And I was just like, I reject it. So the only time I ever decorate the house is for Christmas. It's true. It's true. So when my mom comes to visit, she'll like buy pumpkins for like the front doorstep, and she'll get some, you know, nice things that can, you know, like little mini pumpkins for like places around the house inside. And I'm just like, Mom, she's like, don't worry, you won't have to store them. When they're done, you just get rid of them. And I was like, Mom, she did that. She was here this fall after I had my surgery to take care of me. And she started putting like, you know, little trio of mini pumpkins here, an orange one and a little white one. And, you know, and I was just like, oh, Mom, I love you so much, but don't. She's like, I can't. It doesn't feel like fall in here. So good thing she's not coming for Christmas, because it almost didn't feel like Christmas in my house. We almost did not do a Christmas tree. All right, this is one of those products that I actually really like a lot, but I didn't talk about in one of my yearly favorites. This is a kind of a highlighting stilo, I guess. And it's, what is it called officially? The Pro Glow Perfect Highlighting Stick. It's from Beauty Pie. It's one of those that was collabed with Patty Dubroff, makeup artist. I really like her kind of less is more. And I like how this is glowy. And since Patty's a little bit older than I am, you know, she definitely has that same kind of, let's make sure that, yeah, let's highlight, but let's not make it look bad on mature skin or textured skin. She's very cognizant of that. The other thing I like about this is the color is perfect. There was another one of those Charlotte Tilbury, you know, glowy wand knockoffs that Beauty Pie did. And I definitely feel like that one, the color was too deep for my skin tone. This one's nice. I feel like this one works really well. I just threw on some eyebrows. But I'm going to be using the Viseart Charmeuse palette, the Cashmere Charmeuse palette. This is what it looks like. This is one of my favorite palettes this year. This is one of those that I'm going to try and get a fairly neutral look on today. I don't want anything too involved, but I just really like the quality of these eyeshadows. I think they're just stunning. I would love to know, I know I recently did, and I'll link them for you in the description box down below, like my best and worst of the year, as well as my eyeshadow ranking. I still have to do a lip video. I've been putting it off. Do you know how many lip products I purchased this year? I don't. I was gonna say, do you know? Because I don't. There was a lot. Probably, you know, like 100 or more, maybe even more than that, maybe like 150. I don't know. A lot of lip oils, a lot of kind of gloss balm sticks, a lot of actual lipsticks. And somehow in the last half of this year, I got to the point where I was like, let's start buying luxury lipsticks. So I'm going to be trying a new one today, brand new one that I have yet to try. It just arrived. But I'm going to try and decide if I should do a lip ranking video. So many, that'd be hard. Or if I should just do best and worst. And earlier, like last week, I was like, I'm just gonna do best and worst. There's too many to do a ranking. And then the other part of me would be like, but how much fun would a ranking be? So I still have yet to decide. But I am definitely kind of thinking about all of that right now, going, oh man. I guess the reason I brought all of that up was I would love to know if you haven't already had the chance to share with me what your favorite products are. What products that did you like just totally fall in love with? I feel like I'm using a lot of my favorites today. The Natasha Denona highlighter, the Makeup by Mario skin enhancer, the blush from M Cosmetics, this Viseart palette. Even the brows today are from Make. Like I was using a lot of my favorite products of the year. And I like it when I find that my hand just keeps reaching for the same thing. That's one of my favorite things is I just realized, yep, I really do like it. It's my habitual. I don't even think about it. It's just my hand just goes straight for that. I'm going to build up a little bit of darkness right here on the outside corner. I don't want anything too involved, but I do want just a little bit more depth right here. And I'm just going to take a slightly metallic taupe shade over the lid. Like seriously, I want this to be like one of the easiest looks. I'm going to take the lightest shade in here and just kind of hit the inner corner with it. I may put a little bit over kind of like the center of the lid. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I feel like I want just a little bit more light, like right here. And just tap it in. Because I have not been feeling really well, we decided not to do any traveling for the holidays this year. So we're not going anywhere. Now that my kids are on break, I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, things to do together that would be fun. I also kind of stopped with the, you know, preparations to, like, I didn't send out a Christmas card this year. Last year I didn't either. I was really busy and I forgot about it till it was too late. And this year I was like, I made a conscious choice. I was like, I would love to send out a Christmas card. People are gonna think they're on like my blacklist and that's not it. I used to do it like religiously for years. I just was feeling so terrible. I was like just barely getting through the small must do everyday tasks. And so now that there's like fewer expectations, we're kind of having kind of like a small close to home sort of holiday. We're not having any company come. My mother-in-law and father-in-law live here in town, so we'll see them for Christmas, but we're not like traveling to see family and we're not having any out of town guests coming. It's going to be a really quiet, kind of low-key Christmas. And I'm kind of going to be like, wait, what do we do? Anyway, I would love to know what your holiday plans are. It could be New Year plans. It could be plans or what you did if you have already celebrated your holidays. Like, let me know like how this holiday season has been for you. I feel like there's such a short amount of time here in the US between like Thanksgiving and the winter holidays that it's just like all of a sudden it's like boom, from one to the next. It goes so quickly. And okay, I wasn't expecting to have a wing and now I'm committed. But I really feel like it's been, you know, like the best Christmas gift I could get is the surgery that I had. So I'm like uber delighted that that's been like the outcome for me. But beyond that, it's going to be kind of like slow. And so I'm trying to think of fun stuff to do with my kids. Boy, talking and eyeliner don't always go hand in hand. And neither does straight eyeliner on both sides, apparently. For the eyes, the last thing I'm going to do is throw on this new e.l.f. lash extender. This is the new tubing mascara from e.l.f. It definitely looks like the same type of brush that you would get on the Thrive liquid lash extensions. I curled my lashes before putting on the eyeliner. Maybe I should have given them another curl, but I've been liking this. It comes off really easily, but it's kind of like a more of a lengthening look and less of a volumizing look. Oh. Of course. Okay, I'll clean this up in a minute. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It's one of those days. All I need now is a lipstick, and I'm going to be putting this on. This is from Chanel. This is, okay, my second Chanel lipstick. The first one, I really like. I really like. This is the Rouge Allure Velvet. I have yet to use it. Look at this. This is the shade number 61 Intuitive. Man, I hope it's everything I'm hoping a matte velvet Chanel lipstick will be. Let's see. It's a little browner than I thought. It was described kind of like a little bit rosy. I'm not getting any of that. I feel like this would look better with a little bit of liner. And here I am mixing my $2 e.l.f. liner with this, I don't know how much. I think it was $55. $45, I don't remember, Chanel lipstick. I think we're back to that point that I always end up with. I put on lipstick and I feel like I need a little bit more blush. So I'm just gonna see if I can give myself just a little bit more in the cheek department. I might have just gone too far. I better stop while I'm ahead. Thank you so much for watching today. I did want to say a special thank you. If you sent me a message, if you prayed for me, if you were sending healing vibes, if you had well wishes for me because you saw my community post or my Instagram post, oh my goodness, thank you so much. It means the world to me that I can say things like this to you and that you make it a priority to like make a comment and say, hey, I hope you're doing better, and or check up on me. How are you feeling? Are you doing better after your surgery? So thank you so much for being connected enough to care. I really appreciate that. One of the best parts of 2023 has been getting to know you better. So thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for taking the time to share my channel with people who you think might enjoy it. And for watching me just sit and play with makeup all year long. I hope you have a fantastic day. Enjoy the holidays, enjoy the cooler weather. Let me know how your holidays are going in the comment section down below. I'll see you again soon.